to our Unlocking Public Funding webinar. My name is Kitty Hemphill, and I'm Director of Tech Ventures and Talent Network at Northeastern Center for Research Innovation. We're very excited to have Inspiralia here today to help us discuss different program opportunities and non-dilutive funding opportunities in the environment today. With that, I'm going to hand the virtual mic over to Mirella and Berta to begin the presentation.
Thank you very much, Katie, and thanks Northeastern for providing us with this platform and this opportunity today to talk about one of the core programs that we are targeting through Inspiralia US, which is the SBIR STTR funding opportunity. I'd like first thing first, to share a few words about who we are, what Inspiralia is actually doing. And Inspiralia US in particular is the American branch, sister company of an international group that started and dates its activity back to 2018. We have our premises in Miami. And we have consolidated basically our business, not just in providing assistance with the shaping, writing, execution of federal projects, but also in shaping together with our clients, with the company we assist, also what is going to be their technology growth strategy. And so far, we managed to assist more than 250 companies spread all over the states that managed to access more than $3 billion. And we've done this also thanks to this extensive network of collaboration that we have established. One of this is the one that we have with Northeastern. And yeah, what I can say about us is that we can provide this 360-degree type of assistance to the company we work with. What does it mean? It means that we can assist you throughout all the stages of your technology development. We can support you with accessing some seed funds in order to support the early stage of your R&D. We can move then towards funding opportunities that can support the validation, the testing of your technology. And then together we can scout for opportunities that will facilitate the market uptake of your solution, of your product. Few words about us who are going to be the speakers of this webinar. I'm Mirella Dagnano. I am the coordinator of the NSF division at Inspiralia, not limited to NSF, because under my umbrella there are also other agencies such as DOE, Department of Energy, USDA, and a series of other agencies that are not related to the Department of Defense, for which we have a separate person in charge of, and National Health Institute that instead sees Berta, which is the other co-host of the webinar today, in charge of. About myself, a few things. It's more than 10 years that I'm supporting companies between Europe and the States accessing EC or federal funding opportunities. And my expertise is pretty broad, not really stuck into one specific topics, but hopefully, I can manage to shift from topic to topic, thanks also to the variety of company that I supported in this year. And with me there's Berta, as I said, and Berta is basically what I'm saying all the time, the scientist between us. I'm more into the business and she is more into the science. She has a Master of Science in Medical Chemistry. She has supported more than 100 companies between the States and Europe accessing funding, particularly related to topics such as life science, biotech, and healthcare. And she has supported the Inspiralia US activity ever since the starting, I'd say back in 2018. So today we're going to address SBIR STTR funding opportunity, as we mentioned at the beginning. Important to mention is that we don't just limit our activity to SBIR STTR. In our portfolio, there's also a series of different other opportunities that are promoted by the agency or private foundations. But it's true that the majority of companies that are reaching out are majorly interested into the SBIR STTR opportunities. And here we provide a list of the reason why they're interested in this, and that determine that this is the core, let's say, of our business. Well, this program is providing non-dilutive funding. So this means that you're not going to give up equity or ownership of your solution or of your company to the agency or to the federal institute. It's moreover the largest funding opportunity out there that it's funding early stage R&D technology. It's backed by the Small Business Administration, and it's a program that in total foresees $4.4 billion of dollars. So our takeaways are three, these three listed. So the fact that the program is taking zero equity, that the grant is non-dilutive, and that it funds all the project costs, so the entirety of the project costs. And this is quite unique, I'd rather say, compared to other opportunities that are unleashed by the agency that are addressing and making room for this program. Here you see a recollection of what are the eligibility criteria that will make a company a good fit for this program, and also the idea that they promote fit in it. In order to be able then to access SBIR STTR program, you must have a small business, or you must be a small business with less than 500 employees. I know that it's wishful thinking that of having let's say 500 employees, and that the majority of company maybe interested are like between 1 or 5 employees. But that's, I mean, in the writing what it implied by this definition. On top of this, this company must be 50% owned by US citizens or permanent resident. In terms of staff, you need to have at least one W-2 part-time employee, and the principal investigator, what is called and what we're going to call PI, is going to be must be primarily employed by the company for at least 51% of its employable time. And with respect to the facilities, you should have a legal address that is separate, let's say, from your home address. That's desirable, I'd say. So you need to have a physical office with a lease. When we're talking instead of what makes a project idea a fitting idea for this program, well, first thing first, the concept needs to be innovative, revolutionary. What does it mean? It means that you need to have clearly in mind what are going to be the technical challenges for your project, and you are presenting something that has never been attempted by anybody else before you. The focus will be on shaping what is the work plan for the technical development of your solution, with a clear indication of what are the commercialization milestones that you predict once this will be ready for the market uptake. Two important terms that are related to the subcontracting that are envisioned by the SBIR and STTR program. Just for you to have in mind, 1/3 of your activity, if you are pursuing the SBIR opportunity, can be subcontracted. In case of the STTR, instead, 2/3 of your activities, of your project activities, can be subcontracted. Final point, all the R&D needs to happen on the American soil. And this applies also to the subcontractors, of course, that you are involving in the project. Now, you heard me talking about SBIR, STTR, and here you see also a comparison between these two programs, highlighting what are the differences amongst them. So, with respect to the SBIR, these are projects that are led by a small business. The principal investigators that we mentioned also before must be employed by the small business. The focus of the research of these projects needs to be on applied R&D and commercialization. We mentioned that also. And 100% basically of the budget is going to go to the small business, knowing that 30% of this can hand up to subcontractors, subawardees that you are involving to support you with some specific task in the execution of the activities. With respect to the STTR, these are projects that are established on a collaboration between a university, research center, and a small business. The PI in this case actually can be employed by the research institution. The focus in terms of research is on the technology transfer between the university and the small business. So for the small business to be able to exploit, let's say, an IP that has been generated at the university or research center base. And in terms of funding distribution, have in mind that at least 30% of the budget needs to go to the small business, 30% to the research institute, and that you have the possibility again of subcontracting up to 60% of your activities listed in the work program. Now here we play a bit with some figures that we have collected regarding SBIR and STTR, and it reveals a bit the awards proportion between these two programs. We have shortlisted 5 areas of interest: biomedicine, biotechnology, digital health, medical devices, and pharma technology. So for you to have an understanding of what's the trend in these 5 areas of interest, you see that in the first three, correct, SBIR is predominant compared to the STTR. Normally, it's always predominant because that there is more funding allocated to SBIR in general. But as you will notice, when we're talking about medical devices and pharma technology, STTR is gaining more consensus. So it's gaining, let's say, higher figures in terms of funding. So this is a data also that we share with you, and that I believe it's also interesting in order to produce conclusions. Here instead we want to give you, let's say, a clear picture of what's the timeline when we are talking about a technology readiness level, particularly associated to projects that are related to healthcare, life science, and biotech. So normally, at an early stage, at the lower stage of development, we see that NSF is interested and could be the agency actually that can provide funding, particularly if your projects are addressing early product development, but also, and this is something that is also split with the NIH and for which also NIH can provide support and funding, coverage of any type of in vitro analysis, in vivo analysis, and animal studies. When we are moving on then towards more advanced, let's say, type of technology readiness levels, so when you're targeting proof of concept and validation in a relevant environment, in a real application case, then NIH is the agency of reference. Because it's not just targeting medium stage of developments, but it's embracing bigger animal studies, human studies, and clinical trials. Then if you are instead, and if you're targeting, or after that, because this works also in a progression, you can start with NSF, then you can move on towards NIH, and then you can end up towards AFWERX. And AFWERX is one of the major programs that is promoted by the Department of Defense and is supporting more advanced stages of development. So in the AFWERX and through the AFWERX, you will be able to get support in order to work on your product adaptation, particularly accordingly to what are the needs of the AFWERX and Department of Defense in general, defining what is going to be the manufacturing strategy and the industrial scale-up strategy in general. So that is also for you to have in mind how a project can possibly progress, an healthcare related project. Now, we're going to talk about the National Science Foundation, which is, the agency of my concern. So as for the majority of the agency out there, the NSF and the funding of the NSF, SBIR, STTR, are structured in 3 different phases. So we have a phase 1 that is dedicated and normally ends up with a feasibility study proving the technical viability of your R&D development. These are projects that can last up to 18 months and for which you can gain a maximum of $305,000. Then, and in case you get a phase 1 project, and only in that case, you can move towards a phase 2. And a phase 2 is basically a continuation of the R&D that you have originated in the phase 1, and will allow you to end up a project with a prototype. So you start with some scientific principle, you consolidate it into a technology, and then by the end of the phase 2, you will have a product, you will have a service that is ready then for the next stage, for the commercialization. Phase 2 projects are lasting a maximum of 24 months, and you can get a maximum of $1.250 million. With respect to the third phase, that in the case of the NSF is called phase 2B, this is providing support in order to bridge that gap between innovation and commercialization, and is doing this through the allocation of funding that can go from $50,000 to up to $500,000 for projects that are lasting a maximum of 24 months. And you can gain this amount as a matter of matching funds for investment that you might have raised and that you might have collected through collaboration with some private entities and stakeholders interested in your technology. Important also to reckon is that ever since the end of last year, NSF embraced the fast track scheme. So it allows and it provides the possibility actually to submit a phase 1 and phase 2 at once. So it's going to reduce consistently the gap between the ending of a phase 1 and the starting of a phase 2. You will get $1,550,000 in order, which sum up the amounts that you will get out of a phase 1 and phase 2. Important to mention is that even though it looks very tempting, the eligibility criteria are pretty strict, but I'm happy to address them also in the Q&A moment that we will have later if somebody is interested in knowing more about it. Okay.
Well, can I ask one question about that last slide, if you don't mind?
Oh, please.
With NSF, are there solicitation cycles, or is it just like a rolling application?
The rolling application, actually, it applies to the pitch deck. Because this is the first stage and it's the preliminary stage in order then to access the phase 1 and phase 2. The pitch deck can be submitted anytime, basically.
Yeah.
There are no
That's
windows.
what I thought. Okay.
But then instead, once you get this pitch deck approved, then you need to stick to the windows and to a calendar. And we have a slide also that is going to recollect this the deadlines.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Here there's an overview of what are the evaluation criteria that apply to NSF project. So you see intellectual merits. So the project that you are presenting is going to create and is going to generate something new, a scalable solution that is based on fundamental science and engineering. And again, as we mentioned at the beginning, your R&D must involve high degree of technical risk. So there must be experimentation, risk-taking, also contingency measure in order to address the risk that we are listing and we're going to list in the project. Second criteria is the commercialization potential. So you are introducing what is going to be a scalable business, or what we hope this is going to be a scalable business that is going to make a difference in that specific market that you are addressing. And then, I mean, you need to have in mind what is the need that you are addressing with this technology, and you are doing in a novel way that nobody else has done before. Final criteria is the broader impact. So the project and the quality of the project is going to be measured also on the capacity of generating or making the difference for the people, for the customers that are using it, for the environment, for the industry, for the healthcare sectors, you name it. What makes a company an ideal candidate for the NSF program? Again, here we split the ideal between company and technology. In terms of size of the company, we're talking of company that range between 1 to 10 employees. They are at an early stage. They incorporated maybe in the past 3 to 5 years. They are at the pre-revenue stage, so they have collected maybe so far less than 1 million. So far, they leverage a lot on bootstrapping or seed, and they never submitted NSF application before. With respect to the technology, again, you will see here recurring the novelty, the revolutionary aspect, and they perfectly apply, I'd say, to the NSF because of the early stage of development of technologies that are supported through this funding. In terms of technology readiness levels, we go from 1 to 3. So we hand the project with a proof of concept that has been validated in a relevant scenario. Again, high risk, high gain type of technology. You have identified all the staples of your R&D trajectory, and also have a clear in mind what is going to be the commercialization that will apply to this product. It's not going to support incremental type of development, neither for you nor compared to the state of the art. And then it offers the possibility to test and validate the technology and to validate the idea market, idea product fit. This is the calendar that I was anticipating, and this is providing surely what are going to be the next 2 deadlines that have been already anticipated. We know about them already. The next deadline is going to be that of July the 2nd, followed by the one in November 5th. Normally there are 3 windows open every per year, 4 months distance one from the other. And the submission process, as I was anticipating, starts with the preparation of a pitch deck. Normally it takes up to 4 weeks in order to get a feedback. And so if the feedback is positive, you will be invited to prepare and to submit your full-length phase 1 application. And once, maybe to the July 2nd or the November 5th deadline. And then once you submit it, you need to count that, you need to wait 5 to 6 months in order then to receive a response from the agency. Here you will see an overview of what are the areas of interest for the NSF. And normally we consider this program embracing a bottom-up approach, because it's very difficult not to find a match between all these 36 areas of interest for the topic of your technology or for the enabling technology, let's say, that you are presenting. Just to mention a few: semiconductor, space, robots, advanced materials. If we're going to circulate, this presentation then later, I do recommend you to actually check the portfolio, check this link, and access the NSF portfolio that is going to unlock the projects that have been also submitted, providing some examples that I believe could also make up your mind with respect to what it is funded by this agency and what it is not. And with this, I share the floor with Berta, and yeah, Berta,
Okay.
Let me know if I have to move on, or you can do this.
I mean, as you want, you can move it on, or I can present from here, the way you prefer.
Okay, just try.
Okay, perfect. So thank you everyone for being here. I will try to be brief. I know we have a Q&A, but also in case you have any question, please just raise your hand and I will be happy to answer. In my case, I represent the National Institute of Health. We support biotechnical research. Everything that will be related to safety, efficacy, biological activity of a drug, therapy, or medical device. Why I say that? Because if you are here, probably you are working in some of those specific fields or in something different, but it could be great to understand that the NIH is open for different opportunities related to health. Everything that would be helpful to improve health outcomes is welcome. I always say it's kind of an open topic because there are different institutes to talk about different possibilities, right? Drug development, diagnosis of therapeutic interventions. Mirela, if you can move to the next one. Perfect. Thank you. So similar to the NSF, we have two phases or three phases. Phase 1, where you can get 306K. In case of waiver, this amount can be increased. Let's say you are aligned with a specific topic. It could be, we can ask for more money if you are under one of the interests for the NIH. This money goes specifically determined by each institute, but it goes from 300, 350, 400, sometimes even 700K. So in case you would like to present a phase 1. For a phase 2, usually it's 2 million award. And the idea is to have some R&D to be able to advance your technology or to provide commercial deployment. And then there is the phase 2B, where in some cases, the phase 2, it was not enough and you need some money to move forward and to do not only commercialization, it's also related to the possibility to do more research in case you need it. And also the phase 3, right? In these cases, there are also the possibility of private investment. In case you are raising some money, it's interesting for the NIH, and we will be talking about the phase 2B or phase 3, right? Also, there is one possibility that I like to highlight, it's called fast track for NIH, is where you can get a phase 1 and a phase 2. And in this case, you can get up to 2.3 million, right? It could be to align together the phase 1 with the phase 2 in one project, where we would explain what is your first steps to get to the phase 1 and also the steps to the phase 2 in one submission. This shorten up the time to get the funding. And I think it's interesting for some companies that already have something developed. They have already the MVP, they have a prototype going on, and they know what they want to do for a phase 2, right? If you have this aligned, this could be a great opportunity for you. So please reach out. I will be happy to explain you more about it. Can we move to the next one? Yeah, perfect. So what would be the ideal candidate right? I think it's similar to the NSF, but usually the NIH, the company is a little bit more mature. It's a company that already has been in the market, let's say 3 to 10 years, because usually they need some consolidate activities, some technical approach already done. Usually they like companies that they didn't raise more than 10 millions. And I always kind of make a joke here. Probably we would have this amount of money. Some of the companies wouldn't be here or probably not in this meeting. But sometimes it happens. People ask, how much money should I be raising if I want to submit an SBIR and STTR? There is not a cap. But usually if you have already raised a lot of money, they will question why you need money from SBIR and STTR. And in some cases, there is an answer, right? In some cases, the money you get from private funding is designed to commercial activities and you want to do some R&D that is not aligned with your private investment ideas, so you need money to do some R&D. In these cases, they could consider your company as well to get an SBIR and STTR. In relation to the technical readiness level, usually it's between 1 and 4, so you have something already that you think could work. In NIH, is more scientific approach. They give you money to test some hypotheses. They give you money to see what you are thinking could move forward or not. The number of employees usually is between 1 and 10. It's very important to have some preliminary data. I'm not saying it's compulsory, but it's nice to have. If you have already been working with your prototype and you have gathered some data, this could be the data that we will propose to submit in the phase 1. So they see that you have been already working and you want to increase your knowledge or you want to improve some of the results. So preliminary data is something nice to have. And usually it's hypothesis to be tested. To explain the project's aim is something that is necessary to do. What are you planning to do with the money? How long it's going to take and who's going to be in your team allocated to those specific aims. And they are happy if you have already got some funding. And it's different from the NSF. The NIH provides different funding opportunities. Even if you already got an NIH, they like the companies that try not only 1 but 2 or 3 times to the NIH, and they fund companies with this profile. Yeah. And other important thing is this has shifted a little bit, I would say. As you know, there used to be 27 institutes before this new administration. Now some institutes have been canceled, for example, the minority ones. So I would say now we have around 23 institutes that are still working. In these cases, there are some changes also related to the NCI Cancer Institute. There's some reduce in the budget. But other than that, the other institutes are working properly. We have getting some results from previous submission in January and April. So I want to highlight this here because maybe some of you are wondering if still the funding is going on. I would say that during February and March we have it was a slow time, but now things are moving forward. So if you are thinking about submitting a project, things are working, right? And NIH is important to have in mind consideration that is, as I said before, it's open for something that would improve health. And there are many options for you out there. And in the next slide, we will be talking about September 5th, as April 5th is already gone. So in case you have in your mind to present something, we are still on time for September 5th. How we work on that? Usually for a phase 1, we like to work on that at least 2 months before submission. And what happened when we submit? If this application is funding, you as a business will receive a notice of award, NOA, we call it, around 3 months after the review. Inspiralia will help you with that as well, as we will help you with the post-award management and to answer these emails to the program officer. let's say your submission is not, let's say your application is not funded. In this case, usually what we do is we try again, we resubmit again, checking the information provided by the evaluators and see what we can improve within your team, your technology, or the way we present the proposal. And this is something we include in our contract as a free resubmission always, because we have seen the possibilities to get an NIH or an NSF is increased in the second round. Right? So that's the way we do it. If we move to the next stage, usually I'm going to be brief here because usually the DoD is for companies that has a higher TRL. So your technology is advanced, it's very close to the market. I will say they like solutions that has already gone through the FDA, or they don't need so much animal studies or clinical trials if we talk about biotech. But also is a great opportunity for companies that would like to work with the Department of Defense. The ideal candidate will be a company, a mature company, let's say from 3 to 15 years. They should have raised some money, usually between 3 and 10 millions, and the number of employees could go from 3 to 30. Usually in these specific applications, we submit a pitch deck. Usually it's a PowerPoint application, and in this case, the time to get results is short. Is less time than the NIH and NSF. I think it's very interesting to understand what is the difference between NSF and NIH, and if this is a good fit for you or for somebody you know. What I always say is NSF is first money in, right? When you open a company and you want to start moving forward, there's where you should submit an NSF. When you want to do like a proof of concept, or you want to do some preclinical studies, you want to do something to start, right? The NSF would be the best agency for you in this case to demonstrate something. And it's important that it's aligned with the regulatory, but it's not so strict than in NIH, right? The most important thing is that you think about commercialization. If you are thinking about the NSF, who's gonna be your market in the future? Who's gonna be your end user? Who's gonna be your customer? And this is very important that you have already in your mind when you submit an NSF, right? And what is the technical or the market innovation? While when we talk about the NIH, I would say it's different, because in the case of where it should be focused, the focus is not so much in the commercialization aspect, but how this technology is gonna impact health, how it's gonna be the clinical outcomes, how this is gonna improve the future health outcomes from anyone that could go through this illness or through these different possibilities, right? In this case, research and clinical testing is one of the focus that should be important in the NIH. And also, if you are thinking about having human subjects in the future, NIH would be your agency, or clinical trials, right? And it's very important if you're thinking to the NIH that you already have a plan for the regulatory, because as you know, something that will be used to improve health is going to be a very strict, it's going to have a very strict regulatory process. So it's important that you already determine what would be the steps that you need to follow in case you are a company that is working with a medical device. What kind of medical device you have in your hands, if it's class 1, class 2, class 3, if it's a combination. And in this case, what would be your regulatory pathway? How long it's gonna take? So this could be the main difference between the two agencies, right? And next one, how we work. We usually check solicitations. And the first thing is to sign an NDA so you feel comfortable sharing the information with us. Once you sign it, we exchange information, and with that, we provide you a free evaluation where we see what would be the best which one would be the best agency for you, if any. Sometimes the validation is negative. If we think you are not ready, it doesn't mean that you won't be ready. It means that maybe now you don't have what is necessary to be successful in SBIR or STTR. So this is the first step we do. And then we check solicitations and agency. We work for you with the proposal preparation, and we help you with the administrative management process. So the idea is that Inspiralia help you with full support with everything that you will need, and to have non-dilutive funding. Also, as Mirela mentioned before, we are also working not only with SBIR and STTR, we have other opportunities out there. And if you reach out, we can help you to understand what are those opportunities for you based on your technology. And I think we have one more slide, and we should be almost there in the Q&A, I guess, Katie, right? And yeah, this is the way we will work with you. We will have a senior innovation consultant that will do the role of the evaluator. We provide a scientific writer that will have the specific profile for your technology, an account manager that will be the person to search for you different opportunities, and the post-management office, project management office, that will be the one submitting your proposal, registration process, helping you with that, submitting and helping you with the post-award management. And I think we have some success stories. We can explain a little bit of that. There are different companies that have made it through all the process with us. And some of them, I think, if I'm not confused, the last one was able to win a NSF phase 1, NSF phase 2, and they also submit a fast track in NIH. So that's just for you to have a good understanding of what you can do. Usually there's companies that go from NSF, NIH, if it's something related to health, and also DoD. And I think that would be all. And we will be happy to answer any question and any concerns, something that will help you to understand better the SBIR, or how to get public funding opportunities for you or somebody you know.